Live from TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts, welcome to Hockey Night in New England. It's Women in Sports Night at TD Garden as we highlight our great teammates who work in the sports industry. All the women that are on staff for the Boston Bruins in TD Garden and can see how many women are involved and how vital they are to everything that goes on here on a daily basis.
As we mentioned, it's Women in Sports Night here at TD Garden. Earlier this year, the Bruins and Rapid 7 hosted their third annual Women in Sports panel. And Carrie Collins, who you're going to get to know in a second, she's had a long time role with the Bees as their Senior Director of Community Relations, and she talked about her journey.
This is my dream job since I was a freshman in high school, and there was many years that people were like, shouldn't you give it up, fighting for your dream? And I'm like, no, I'm going to keep going for it. So it's to inspire people that are going for it and want to be in the industry, but are kind of like on that teetering if they're going to give up on the dream. And it's just like, no, keep going for it.
Yeah, you definitely have to follow your dreams. And someone we want to highlight who you may have heard of before because she's been with NESN for a long time, our own coordinating director, Rose Marakian-Wheeler. She was highlighted this week by the Boston Globe, and she's been forging a path for women in sports at NESN for over 40 years. I get to work with Rose on a nightly basis, and she is wonderful to work with. I loved seeing the video there of the women gathering together and networking. There was a time not that long ago, even some events that I still go to that I may be the only woman in the room. So it is really nice to see them get together, but also supporting each other. What about you and your journey and kind of seeing the progress and the doors opening for women in sports?
It's incredible. It's so fun. And for me growing up, I was the one woman, the girl on the boys team growing up. And so I was the one with the ponytail, and the people were yelling from the bench and the fans, get the girl, get the girl. And now I have a 10-year-old niece who's surrounded by female athletes to not only look up to, but play with. And there's such a great development track for girls these days. You see what happened with Northeastern. We just talked to Tage Thompson and Skylar Irving, and just the expansion of college athletics and the audience viewership. And now with the PWHL and the Boston Fleet, I mean, the number of women in the industry, just even as athletes alone, not even as broadcasters and GMs and those in the business side of things, is so encouraging for a woman to watch. And someone, when I was younger, I mean, I didn't really have that many athletes or models to look to. And so it's really cool on behalf of my niece to see that.
Absolutely. We heard the girls say that when they were growing up, they had to change in under the stairs or bathroom stalls because there was no girls' locker room for them to do that. And now community rinks and arenas are being built around the thought that women are going to be playing in the game. But as you mentioned, it's not just on the ice or on a desk or on a panel that you're seeing. We showed you some very important behind the scenes people involved in getting the event and the game going.
2 seconds, 1 second, and the bench clears as Northeastern jumps on Lisa Johnson, a shutout in the Bead Pot Championship game.
Well, Northeastern champions with us, Skylar Irving and Tage Thompson. Thank you so much for being here. Do you guys get sick of seeing that?
No, never.
No, of
Not
course.
at all.
And you know what? Different win than the one before where you scored the overtime goal with the great Selly back at the Garden. We're here featuring you guys because it is Women in Sports Night at TD Garden, and we want to highlight all the people who, not just with the Bruins, but who are growing the game of hockey. And you guys are part of that as well, inspiring young girls. So, Skylar, I want to start with you. And in your young years, have you seen a lot of changes in terms of the attention and the highlights of women in sports?
Yeah, just even like the past couple of years, like with the growth of the new PWHL and being able to play at the Garden, like there's been that growth within Boston, and just overall, like there's so much more awareness with the game and people want to watch it. And the more exposure that we can get, the better it is. So
absolutely,
it's been so cool just to see like all the younger kids teams and all of that. There's so many people that want to play, and that's so exciting. So just it's been super cool to be a part of and just kind of watch it grow.
Yes, no, it has been so great to watch grow. Taze, I love your story because your dad being a hockey player, and then, of course, in the NHL system, having a daughter and being like she's going to be a player too. So you've kind of grown up around the game on an intimate and high level for most of your life. But are you also feeling more women being involved, and what does that mean to you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think growing up, it was always me chasing around my brothers or being a part of a boys team. But the fact that there are so many programs now for women and little girls and more camps and games like the Bean Pot where you look around in the stands and you see a bunch of little girls, a part of their team screaming your name, I think it's just phenomenal. So to really see that grow up with it, because it wasn't really a thing when I was younger. So to come into it, to grow up with it, I think it's been amazing. It's really cool to see.
Absolutely. And I want to touch on camps really quickly because growing up, there may have been access, but it was so hard to get the amount of girls I would have needed to play professionally, or, I had to maybe play with the boys. How important is developing or giving that accessibility to young boys and girls, but of course young girls, so that when they're 5, 6, they feel like it's a possibility and their parents aren't driving, hours away to get them playing. We'll start with you, Taze, and then Skylar, you can wrap that thought.
Yeah, I think it's so important. I think it gives them confidence. I think it gives them the ability to really come into any type of athlete that they want to be. But for hockey, I remember having to get changed, like in bathrooms or in ref rooms,
yes,
or like you're getting shoved under the stairs, which is a really funny thing to look back on, but also builds character at the same time. But the fact that there's like designated locker rooms for little girls now to become a part of a team with their other friends and, really just have fun and admire every moment of that, I think is really cool. So growing up, I think it's so fun to see, but it's important for that confidence piece of it.
Awesome. Do you have a quick thought to wrap that up?
Yeah,
similar upbringing that way?
Yeah, I think it's just important, especially with having, they just need to be able to see it, and the access and being more accessible now, it's super awesome to get more people into the sport, and it's just fun when you're young.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, they need to be able to see it to believe it, and to know that it's possible for you too, which is also why we wanted to have you guys on the desk to highlight that. I said it was going to be a quick interview. We're going to wrap up and